oblivious. Ugh, what is that blinding light? And why am I so tiny? Wait, silk robes, ancient architecture. Don't tell me I actually reincarnated into one of those historical C-dramas I was binge-watching before the truck hit me.
Princess, hold up. Is that bearded guy staring at me, my dad? He looks way too stressed. Wait, is that the Prime Minister standing outside the window? Oh, crap. Isn't that the guy who is embezzling 3 million gold taels from the treasury to build a secret mansion? Bro is a walking tax fraud. Someone fire him immediately.
A lavish, sunlit imperial delivery room. The air is thick with anticipation and nervous energy. The emperor, a powerful man with a majestic beard, paces the floor anxiously. Beside him stand his two sons, the crown prince stern, holding an official scroll, and the second prince impatiently twirling a small dagger. Standing near the heavy wooden doors is the fierce imperial general and his young, sharp-eyed son, Li Chen. Suddenly, a sharp newborn's cry pierces the air. The grand midwife hurries out from behind the silk screens, cradling a tiny, swaddled baby girl.
Bowing low with a wide smile. Your Imperial Majesty, congratulations. A beautiful, healthy princess has been born to the Empress.
Proudly, eyes shining. My daughter, the jewel of my court. Look how peacefully she sleeps. She knows nothing of the dark, corrupt world outside.
Suddenly, a sharp, cynical, distinctly adult female voice echoes violently inside the minds of the emperor. The two princes, General Li Yi and young Li Chen. Only the midwife remains completely oblivious. Ugh, what is that blinding light? And why am I so tiny? Wait, silk robes, ancient architecture. Don't tell me I actually reincarnated into one of those historical C-dramas I was binge-watching before the truck hit me.
The emperor's eyes widen in absolute horror. He completely freezes. The crown prince drops his scroll to the floor. The second prince accidentally slices his own finger with his dagger. General Li Yi instantly drops his hand to the hilt of his broadsword, his battle-hardened eyes scanning the ceiling in shock. Beside him, young Li Chen's jaw drops as he stares intensely at the baby princess.
Stammering, looking around the room, wild-eyed. Did anyone just hear a woman complaining about a truck?
General Li Yi, voice low, sweating profusely under his armor. Your Majesty, I heard it too. A strange voice, echoing directly inside my soul.
Crown Prince, gripping his long sleeves. It sounded like it came from inside my own brain.
Baby princess, hold up. Is that bearded guy staring at me, my dad? He looks way too stressed. Wait, is that the Prime Minister standing outside the window? Oh, crap. Isn't that the guy who is embezzling 3 million gold taels from the treasury to build a secret mansion? Bro is a walking tax fraud. Someone fire him immediately.
The emperor slowly turns his head toward the courtyard window, his expression shifting from pure terror to sheer, thunderous rage.
The emperor full of rage. General Li, arrest the Prime Minister this instant. Audit his entire estate for the 3 million teams.
General Li replied, by your imperial command, I will personally tear his estate apart. Outside, General Li Yi shouts orders as his heavy armored guards scramble into action. The emperor looks back down at the baby. The baby opens her big, bright eyes, looking straight back up at them.
Damn, Dag moves fast. And that scary general guy is an absolute unit. I like them. Oh, who's the cute little boy in the next to the general? He's kinda handsome.
Young Li Chen's ears turn bright, burning red. He instantly stands straighter, clutching his small chest, a fascinated, loyal smile breaking across his face.
Grinning wildly, whispering eagerly, Father, I don't know what kind of sorcery this is, but this kid is a literal cheat code. We are going to blow up so many corrupt factions.
Smirking fiercely, holding her up high. Seal the pavilion. From this day forth, no one leaves this family circle.
Sunlight cuts through thick incense smoke. The emperor, the crown prince, and General Li Yi are gathered around a massive map of the capital city. The baby princess sits nearby in her pastel pink crib, happily chewing on a wooden rattle. Young Li Chen stands faithfully by the crib, occasionally waving a colorful silk fan to keep her cool.
The emperor sighing, heavily rubbing his temples as he spoke. General Li, my scouts report that a rebel faction is smuggling heavy black powder explosives into the capital. But they keep moving the location. If they strike the palace during the upcoming solstice festival, the casualties will be catastrophic.
General Li Yi, gravely slamming his fist on the table. Your Majesty, we have raided 3 separate docks, but found nothing. Someone inside our own military is leaking our movements. We are running out of time.
Suddenly, the familiar, sharp, chaotic voice of the baby violently echoes inside their heads. She stops chewing her rattle and stares intensely at the ceiling. The baby princess in their heads, groaning with annoyance. Oh my god, can these boomer politicians please stop shouting? I'm trying to take a nap here. Wait, did they just say they can't find the rebel explosives? Wow, they are literally looking at the wrong map. The emperor, the crown prince, General Li Yi, and young Li Chen all freeze. They slowly turn their heads toward the crib. The baby princess continues in her mind. Everyone knows the Minister of Logistics. Lord Zhao owns a harmless silk embroidery warehouse near the Southern Canal. Except it's not silk inside those crates. It's thousands of pounds of highly volatile black powder cannons meant to blow up the palace gates. He literally hid them right under your noses, Dad. Honestly, the lack of basic detective work in this dynasty is depressing. The Emperor's eyes snap wide open. He looks directly at General Li Yi.
The emperor voice, trembling with sudden realization. The Southern Canal, Lord Zhao's embroidery warehouse.
General Li Yi gasping, his eyes flashing with lethal intent. Lord Zhao. He is the one who signs off on all our military patrol routes. It makes perfect sense why our raids always fail.
Just then, the second prince bursts into the study wearing dark lightweight midnight blue stealth armor, a wild eager grin plastered across his face.
The second prince spoke excitedly. Did I just hear someone say? Thousands of pounds of black powder. Excellent. Father, give me the command. Let me take General Li Yi's elite vanguard. I am going to blow that rebel base sky high. I won't just confiscate those weapons.
The baby princess' voices rings in their heads, eyes sparkling with pure chaotic excitement. Ooh, second brother in stealth armor looks like a total anime badass. Yes, go blow it up. Use the fiery explosive tags on the rear columns to trigger a chain reaction. Make it a total cinematic masterpiece.
Second prince burst out loud, laughing, pointing at the crib. You heard the kid. Father, chain reaction it is.
The emperor smirking fiercely, raising his imperial seal. Con Princess. General Li Yi, take the elite shadow guards. Eradicate the traitors, and let the capital see the fiery wrath of the imperial family.
A massive wooden warehouse sits ominously by the fog-covered river. Heavily armed rebel guards patrol the perimeter with torches. Suddenly dark shadows drop from the rooftops. In a flash of steel, the second prince and General Li Yi lead their elite forces, swiftly knocking out the guards with silent, flawless precision. They kick open the heavy oak doors and slip inside. The warehouse is packed to the ceiling with wooden crates. The second prince slices a crate open with his dagger, revealing rows of glossy black metal cannons and barrels of black powder explosive dust.
General Li Yi whispering harshly while checking the perimeter. Your Highness, the rebel reinforcements are approaching from the main road. We have less than 3 minutes. We must retreat. The second prince smirking mischievously, pulling out a glowing fire flint. Retreat? Not until I give my baby sister the show she General, plant the explosive tags on the rear structural columns just like she create a chain reaction.
They quickly slap glowing talismanic explosive seals onto the wooden pillars and race toward the exit. As they burst out of the front doors into the muddy courtyard, a massive horde of rebel soldiers surrounds them, swords drawn. Rebel leader, sneering, raising his blade. "You're trapped, Prince, kill them all." Second Prince, slowly walking backward, counting down on his fingers. 3 to 1. Happy solstice, boys. Boom. A colossal, thunderous explosion tears through the back of the warehouse. A brilliant wave of bright orange, crimson, and golden fire erupts into the night sky. The sheer force of the shockwave throws the rebel soldiers off their feet. One by one, the barrels of black powder ignite in a spectacular, blinding chain reaction. The entire rebel stronghold crumbles into a raging, cinematic inferno. General Li Yi stands tall amid the flying embers, his heavy broadsword swinging down to finish off the panicked enemy forces. The morning sun shines brightly. The Emperor, the Empress, and the Crown Prince are eating breakfast. The second prince walks in, covered in a bit of soot but absolutely glowing with pride. General Li Yi and young Li Chen follow close behind.
The second prince, bowing dramatically. Father, mother, the rebel weapon cache is entirely gone. Lord Zhao has been arrested, and the capital is completely safe.
The Empress looks over at the royal crib, where the baby princess is propped up against a silk pillow, clapping her tiny baby hands together with a massive, satisfied grin.
The baby prince's voice in their heads cheering happily. Yes! That blast was absolutely epic. 10 out of 10 for the pyrotechnics. Second brother. Now that the corruption is cleared for the week, someone please tell the chef to bring me some mashed sweet potatoes. I'm literally starving from all this plotting.
Young Li Chen walks over to the crib, leaning over the railing with a warm, captivated smile. He gently places a small, polished jade protective amulet right next to her tiny hands. Li Chen whispering softly so only she can hear. "You did well, princess. As long as I am alive, no traitor will ever come near your crib." The baby princess blinks up at him, her tiny cheeks flushing a light pink as she lets out a bubbly, happy coo. Few months later. A sweeping, majestic forest valley under a golden sun. Grand silk tents are pitched across the lush green plains. Hundreds of imperial soldiers stand in perfect formation, their banners rippling in the wind. The emperor sits on a raised golden throne outside the main imperial tent, flanked by the crown prince and the second prince, who is eagerly sharpening an array of hunting arrows. General Li Yi stands nearby, supervising the guard perimeter. Our protagonist, Princess Lin Yuexin, is now a cheeky, adorable toddler dressed in miniature regal pastel pink hanfu robes. She is sitting on a silk rug, happily stuffing her face with traditional sweet pastries. Young Li Chen kneels beside her, watching over her protectively while adjusting his practice bow. An envoy from the rival Shadow Volve Kingdom lord who steps forward, bowing deeply with a sharp, oily smile. Behind him, his servants hold cages covered in thick dark cloths.
Lord who spoke voice, dripping with fake respect. Your Imperial Majesty. To celebrate this grand hunt, our kingdom brings a token of peace. We have brought rare, exotic mountain stags for your princess to hunt today. May our alliance last forever.
Princess Lin Yuexin stops mid-bite, her pastry frozen at her mouth. Her eyes narrow as she glares straight at Lord Hu. Suddenly, her sharp, highly sarcastic adult inner voice explodes into the minds of the emperor, the two princes, General Li Yi, and young Li Chen.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice in their heads, scoffing loudly. Wow, Lord Hu's acting is absolute trash. Exotic mountain stags my foot. Those cages don't have deer in them. They are literally packed with mutated, venomous shadow panthers trained to hunt royal bloodlines by scent.
The emperor's hand slips on his golden cup, spilling wine all over his robes. The crown prince's jaw tightens. The second prince's grin turns incredibly dangerous. General Li Yi subtly signals his archers to notch their bows.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice continues, and oh, look at his belt. He has a hidden whistle made of bone. The moment the princes ride into the deep woods, he's going to blow it to release the panthers and cause a massive bloody stampede. Bro literally thought he could pull a fast one on us. Dad, please break his knees.
The emperor slowly wipes the wine from his robes, his eyes turning colder than ice as he stares down at Lord Hu. The Emperor smirking darkly. An alliance? You say splendid. Lord Hu, since your kingdom went through such great lengths to bring these stags, it would be a shame if you didn't join the hunt.
Lord Hu sweating slightly, laughing nervously. Oh, your majesty, this servant is a mere diplomat. I do not know how to handle a bow.
The second prince stands up, sling his bow over his shoulder with a fierce smirk. No bow needed, Lord Hu. You can just ride at the very front of our formation to lead the way. In fact, let's head into the deep woods, right now.
The canopy is thick, casting long, eerie shadows across the forest floor. Lord Hu rides a horse at the front, trembling violently surrounded closely by the second prince and General Li Yi's elite vanguard. Desperate and seeing no other choice, Lord Hu secretly reaches for the bone whistle at his belt and blows it. A high-pitched, piercing sound echoes through the trees. Instantly, the cages back at the camp are smashed open from the inside. 3 massive, pitch-black shadow panthers, with glowing red eyes and venomous fangs sprint into the woods, roaring savagely as they track the scent of the royal family. General Li Yi, drawing his massive broadsword, shouting, "The beasts are here," form a defensive circle around the second prince.
Second prince, laughing wildly, pulling out a handful of special arrows. Defensive circle, please. Little sister told me exactly what to expect. General, have the men fire the oil barrels into the brush right now. General Li Yi's men immediately launch 3 small barrels of flammable oil into the path of the rushing panthers. The barrels shatter, soaking the dry leaves and trees.
The lead shadow panther leaps through the air, fangs bared, aiming straight for the second prince. The second prince doesn't even blink. He notches a special fire talisman arrow, draws his bowstring to the max, and fires.
Second prince, yelling, "Light them up." The flaming arrow strikes the oil-soaked ground right beneath the leaping beast. A colossal wall of brilliant, blinding orange and yellow fire erupts instantly. The explosion rips through the brush, creating a massive cinematic barrier of flames. The venomous panthers are completely caught in the blast, howling as the chain reaction ignites the remaining oil barrels, blowing the rebel trap sky high.
Lord Hu tries to turn his horse to flee in the chaos, but General Li Yi rides up, his broadsword resting coldly against Lord Hu's neck. The sun is setting, painting the sky in deep shades of crimson and violet. Lord Hu and his conspirators are dragged into the center of the camp in heavy chains, throwing themselves to the ground in terror. The Emperor sits majestically watching them get carted off to the imperial dungeons.
Over on the silk rug, Princess Lin Yuexin is lazily leaning against a plush golden pillow, looking entirely bored by the political drama. Princess Lin Yuexin in their heads, yawning heavily. Man, that explosion was pretty good, but all this smoke is ruining my skin. Can someone take me back to the palace? Also, Li Chen keeps staring at me like I'm a piece of sweet candy. It's making my toddler cheeks blush.
Young Li Chen, who was standing right next to her, instantly turns bright red. He coughs awkwardly and looks away, trying to pretend he wasn't admiring her, though a soft loyal smile spreads across his face. The Emperor, the Crown Prince, and the returning second prince all look at each other, suppressing their laughter at their little sister's sassy internal monologue. They crowd around her, their bond stronger than ever. A massive, solemn hall filled with hundreds of small wooden desks. Top scholars from across the empire are seated writing intensely with brush and ink. The atmosphere is quiet and heavy with pressure. Close to front of the hall on a raised pavilion sits the crown prince supervising the exams alongside the elderly, highly respected Grand Scholar Guo. Near the pavilion, the emperor sits comfortably on a temporary throne watching the proceedings. Right beside him, Princess Lin Yuexin is sitting on a plush silk cushion happily chewing on a golden pear. Young Li Chen stands at her side, holding her napkin and keeping a watchful eye on the room. Grand Scholar Guo steps forward, bowing deeply to the emperor and the princess, with a face full of solemn righteousness.
Grand Scholar Guo voice booming softly. Your Imperial Majesty, Your Highness, the future minds of our empire are performing beautifully today. Under the Crown Prince's flawless supervision, there is absolutely no room for corruption or cheating.
Princess Lin Yuexin stops chewing her pear. She squints her eyes, staring directly at the Grand Scholar's long, voluminous sleeves. Suddenly, her sharp, highly sarcastic adult inner voice explodes into the minds of the Emperor, the Crown Prince General Li Yi, who is guarding the door, and young Li Chen.
Princess Lin Yuexin continues in their heads, scoffing loudly. Oh please, look at this old man acting like a saint. Flawless supervision, more like a flawless setup. This old geezer literally hid a forge. Fake treasonous letter inside the bottom of desk number 42.
The crown prince's hand twitches, accidentally blotting ink onto his official scroll. The emperor's eyes narrow instantly into icy slits. Li Chen shifts his gaze sharply toward desk number 42.
Princess Lin Yuexin continues in their head. The moment the exams end, his hidden guards are going to accidentally raid that desk, find the fake letter that claims the crown prince is funding a rebel army,
Bro
and
really
frame
thought
my
he
big
was a
brother for
mastermind.
high treason.
Dad, call for a sudden inspection right now. Let's watch him sweat. The emperor slowly sets down his teacup, a terrifyingly cold smirk playing on his lips as he looks at Grand Scholar Guo.
Emperor spoke calmly but with an underlying edge. Grand Scholar Guo, your dedication to fairness is inspiring. In fact, it inspires me to do a surprise inspection of the desks right this second, just to prove to the public how clean our exams are.
Grand Scholar Gu's face instantly turns a pale shade of gray. His hands begin to tremble inside his sleeves. Grand Scholar Guo, stammering slightly, "Why, Your Majesty? A surprise inspection mid-exam might disturb the students' concentration. Perhaps we should wait."
Crown Prince, standing up, voice sharp and commanding. There is no need to wait, Grand Scholar. General Li Yi, take your men and search desk. Number 42, immediately.
The entire hall goes dead silent. General Li Yi strides down the aisle, his heavy armor clanking loudly against the marble floor. He stops right at desk number 40 to where a terrified student quickly scrambles backward onto the floor. General Li Yi kneels down, reaches beneath the wooden frame of the desk and pulls out a hidden, double-layered wooden board. Inside is a thick, official-looking scroll sealed with black wax. He walks back to the pavilion and hands it directly to the emperor. The emperor breaks the seal, reads the contents, and slams the scroll onto the table with a thunderous bang.
Emperor roaring. A forged contract claiming the Crown Prince is selling imperial secrets to border rebels. Grand Scholar Guo, explain why this script matches the exact cursive style of your own personal calligraphy secretaries.
Grand Scholar Guo falls to his knees, banging his forehead against the floor in sheer terror. Grand Scholar Guo, crying out, sweating profusely, "Your Majesty, this servant was framed. I know nothing of this letter. The student at desk 42 must be the traitor."
Princess Lin Yuexin in their heads, laughing hysterically. Wow, throwing a poor student under the bus? Typical villain behavior. Hey, big brother second Princeton, are you outside yet? Because the Grand Scholar's secret guards are currently hiding in the courtyard rafters with smoke bombs, waiting to break him out.
Outside the hall, a group of 20 black-masked rebel assassins drop from the palace roofs, tossing smoke bombs into the courtyard to create chaos and rescue the Grand Scholar. But the moment the smoke hits the ground, the second prince appears from the shadows, leading an entire squad of elite imperial archers.
Second prince, grinning wildly, drawing his sword. Did you guys really think we didn't know you were up there? My little sister predicts everything. Archers, fire the explosive tip arrows into the courtyard walls. Box them in.
The archers release a volley of glowing arrows. Boom, boom, boom. A rapid succession of cinematic firing. Explosions tears through the courtyard walls and the surrounding pillars, completely cutting off the assassins' escape routes with a roaring ring of fire. The sheer shockwave knocks the masked rebels flat onto their backs. Within seconds, General Li Yi's heavy armored vanguard moves in, pitting the remaining traitors to the ground. When the smoke has cleared and Grand Scholar Guo, along with his entire rebel squad, has been dragged off in heavy iron chains to face execution, the Emperor and the Crown Prince stand at the pavilion, looking out over the perfectly safe, peaceful palace grounds. Over on the silk cushion, Princess Lin Yuexin is rubbing her sleepy toddler eyes, leaning comfortably against young Li Chen's shoulder as he carefully wipes her sticky, pear-covered fingers with a warm cloth.
Princess Lin Yuexin in their heads, yawning heavily. Playing detective is exhausting. At least Big Brother Crown Prince is safe. Now can someone please carry me back to my bed? This toddler body has a strictly enforced 7 p.m. bedtime, and if I don't get my milk soon, I'm going to throw a massive tantrum.
The Emperor, the Crown Prince, and the second Prince all look over at her, trying their absolute best to hide their massive, proud smiles from the remaining court servants. Young Li Chen looks down at the sleeping princess on his shoulder, his heart melting as a fierce, quiet vow of lifelong protection shines brightly in his young eyes. A breathtaking courtyard filled with blooming pink lotus flowers and weeping willow trees. A gentle breeze rustles the silk canopies. The Empress sits elegantly at a carved stone table, hosting a private tea ceremony. Sitting opposite her is the jealous imperial consort SHU, who wears overly lavish, heavy silk robes and a fake, sweet smile. Our protagonist, Princess Lin Yuexin, now a cheeky toddler, sits on a plush silk rug next to the Empress, happily playing with a set of golden building blocks. Young Li Chen stands right behind her, acting as her mini bodyguard and holding a tray of her favorite fruit slices. Consort Shu claps her hands, and her personal maid steps forward, placing a tray of beautifully frosted, golden osmanthus cakes onto the stone table.
Consort Shu's voice dripping with sweet venom. Your Imperial Majesty, I personally spent the entire morning in the palace kitchen, overseeing the preparation of these osmanthus cakes. They are made from the freshest harvest, just to honor your unmatched grace. Please have a taste.
The Empress smiles gracefully, reaching her hand out toward the plate of cakes. Princess Lin Yuexin suddenly stops stacking her golden blocks. She turns her head, squinting her eyes suspiciously at Consort Shu's perfect smiling face. Instantly, her sharp, adult inner voice violently blasts into the minds of the Empress, General Li Yi, who is standing guard at the garden entrance, and young Li Chen.
Princess Lin Yuexin's voice in their heads, groaning loudly. Oh, look, it's the daily harem drama. Consort Shu really thinks she's a master chef. Too bad she didn't just add sugar to those cakes. The bottom 3 pastries are literally packed with ghost weaver powder. One bite and Mom's throat closes up instantly.
The Empress's fingers freeze a mere inch away from the pastry. Her eyes narrow subtly. Young Li Chen immediately tightens his grip on his tray, glaring sharply at the maid.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice continues. And the funniest part, she brought a small bottle of the antidote, hidden right inside her hair bun, under that massive golden phoenix hairpin. Her plan is to poison Mom, pretend to save her with the antidote to look like a hero, and then frame the kitchen staff. Sis really thought she wrote a flawless script. Mom, do not eat that. Make her eat it instead.
The Empress slowly lowers her hand back to her lap, her expression shifting into a calm, incredibly dangerous smile.
The Emperor, stepping into the pavilion unexpectedly, his majestic voice echoing, "What a wonderful gathering! Consort Shu, your loyalty to the Empress warms my heart."
The Emperor walks in, followed by the Crown Prince and the second Prince. They all have matching, knowing smirks on their faces after hearing the baby's telepathic broadcast. Consort Shu instantly stands up, bowing low to the Emperor, though a bead of cold sweat runs down her neck.
Consort Shu, stammering slightly, "Why, Your Imperial Majesty, what a pleasant surprise. I was just offering the Empress some fresh osmanthus cakes."
The Emperor, sitting down waving his hand. "Excellent. Since you went through so much trouble in the kitchens, it wouldn't be fair if the Empress ate them alone. Consort Shu, I decree that you shall eat the bottom 3 cakes right now to show your devotion to this family."
Consort Shu's face instantly turns completely white. She takes a panicked step backward.
Consort Shu, trembling, violent. "Your Majesty, this servant is currently on a strict spiritual fast. I dare not consume the cakes meant for Her Majesty."
Second Prince, grinning wildly, drawing his sword halfway. "A fast? Don't worry, Consort Shu. I can help you slide them down your throat. Eat. The cakes?"
Desperate and completely cornered, Consort Shu turns around, signaling her personal maid. The maid suddenly pulls a hidden poison dagger from her sleeve, aiming straight for the toddler princess on the rug. Maid, screaming, "Protect the consort, kill the princess." Before the maid's dagger can even drop an inch, Young Li Chen moves with lightning-fast precision. He kicks the heavy fruit tray right out of his hands, launching it straight into the maid's face. Bang! The tray shatters against her head, sending fruit flying everywhere and knocking the maid off her feet. Consort Shu panics, pulling a small, black smoke bomb container from her sleeve and throwing it to the ground. Boom! A massive, blinding explosion of thick purple smoke fills the entire garden pavilion, completely obscuring everyone's vision. Consort Shu turns around, running desperately toward the garden wall, where a secret escape hatch is hidden.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice. In their heads, coughing and annoyed. Ooh, purple smoke. Seriously? What is this? A low-budget magic show. Second brother. She's running toward the western willow tree. There's a loose brick in the wall that opens a secret tunnel. Blow up the wall.
Second prince, yelling through the smoke. Got it. Men, fire the fire talisman cannons at the western wall. The Imperial Guards immediately wheel in a portable fire cannon and ignite the fuse.
Boom! Boom! A colossal, thunderous explosion tears through the western stone wall of the garden. A brilliant wave of bright orange fire and flying stone debris erupts into the sky, completely obliterating the secret tunnel and grass, her clothes scorched and her heavy hair ornaments flying everywhere. The purple smoke has completely cleared. Consort Shu and her rogue maid have been dragged away in heavy iron chains, stripped of their titles and sent straight to the Imperial dungeons. The Empress sits safely on her throne, looking over at her toddler daughter with endless affection.
A few moments later.
Over on the silk rug, Princess Lin Yuexin is lazily lying on a giant velvet pillow, her face covered in crumbs as young Li Chen carefully feeds her sweet, unpoisoned melon slices one by one.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice. In their heads, sighing with extreme luxury. That's more like it. No poison, just pure vibes. Li Chen, your tray-throwing skills are top tier. 10 out of 10. You're officially promoted to my favorite bodyguard. Now, someone please get me a cup of warm milk. My toddler brain is turning off.
Young Li Chen hears her inner praise, and his face instantly flushes a deep, burning crimson. He looks down at his hands, a small, fiercely loyal, and incredibly happy smile breaking across his face. The Emperor, the Crown Prince, and the Second Prince all look at each other, quietly chuckling as they watch their tiny, sassy cheat code drift off to sleep. A dark, underground chamber lit only by flickering torches. Heavy stone pillars loom in the shadows. The remaining corrupt ministers, rogue generals, and rebel leaders are gathered around a stone table. At the center is the ruthless rebel commander Duan, his face twisted in pure, desperate rage. He slams his fist onto the table, shattering a ceramic cup.
The rebel commander Duan roaring in frustration. How is this possible? The prime minister's embezzlement. Exposed in an hour. Duke Wang's poison. Uncovered instantly. Lord Zhao's weapon cache. Blown to pieces. And Consort Shu didn't even make it past the garden walls. It is as if the heavens themselves are reading our minds.
The corrupt Minister Tong, trembling, wiping sweat from his face, Commander Duan, the rumors say the Emperor has a divine spirit protecting him. We cannot defeat him with stealth. Every trap we set is flipped back onto us.
Rebel Commander Duan, eyes flashing with madness, drawing a massive scimitar. Then we stop using traps. If the heavens want to protect the Emperor, let's see if they can stop 10,000 heavily armed rebel soldiers. Gather the hidden garrisons from the northern mountains. Tonight, under the cover of the midnight storm, we storm the palace gates and slaughter the entire royal bloodline.
Outside, a heavy storm rages, thunder cracks loudly, and rain lashes against the ornate palace windows. Inside, the atmosphere is peaceful but alert. The Emperor, the Crown Prince, and the Second Prince are reviewing defense. Border scrolls. Our protagonist, Princess Lin Yuexin, now a highly perceptive toddler, is sitting on a massive pile of silk pillows, lazily playing with a golden compass. Young Li Chen stands right next to her, holding a warm blanket over her shoulders to keep the chilly storm air away. General Li Yi stands near the door, his hand resting tightly on his sword hilt.
Emperor, looking out the window at the dark sky. The capital is unusually quiet tonight. Quiet. Duan has been missing from the court for 3 days.
General Li Yi, gravely. Your Majesty, my scouts report unusual troop movements in the northern valleys, but the storm is masking their tracks. We cannot locate their main force.
Princess Lin Yuexin stops spinning her golden compass. She tilts her head, staring out into the dark, stormy courtyard, her eyes narrowing with sharp intelligence. Instantly, her sarcastic, adult inner voice violently echoes inside the minds of the emperor. The two princes, General Li Yi and young Li Chen.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice, in their heads sighing deeply. Oh, great. A midnight storm. The classic setup for a dramatic villain monologue. General Li, your scouts are looking in the wrong place again. Duan's army isn't coming from the main road. They literally bribed the southern gate guards and are currently marching through the underground drainage tunnels right beneath the palace courtyard.
The emperor's teacup stops halfway to his mouth. The second prince instantly jumps to his feet, a wild, lethal grin breaking across his face. General Li Yi's jaw drops as he stares at the toddler princess.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice continues. They have thousands of pounds of black powder kegs packed into the subterranean tunnels directly underneath the throne room. They are planning to blow up the entire foundation of the palace from below in exactly 30 minutes, and then march their army through the rubble. Honestly, Yuan is a psycho. Dad, you need to flood those tunnels right now and set a trap.
The emperor slowly sets his cup down, a terrifyingly cold, thunderous expression settling on his face. He looks directly at General Li Yi and the second prince.
The Emperor. Voice low and lethal. The southern gate. The subterranean drainage tunnels beneath the throne room.
General Li Yi, gasping, his eyes flashing. Underneath us? By the ancestors, if they ignite black powder down there, the entire palace will collapse.
Second prince, laughing wildly, drawing his twin blades. Oh, they want to play with fire in the dark. Perfect. General Li Ji. Let's redirect the palace reservoir water to flood the lower levels.
Crown Prince, standing up, voice calm and commanding. I will mobilize the imperial archers to seal all the courtyard exit grates. They won't have a single escape route.
Down in the dark, cramped stone tunnels beneath the palace, Rebel Commander Duan and hundreds of his elite black-masked soldiers are wading through knee-deep water, dragging massive wooden barrels of black powder explosives.
Rebel soldier, whispering harshly, Commander, we are directly beneath the throne room hall. Plant diffuses.
Suddenly, a loud, roaring sound echoes through the stone tunnels. Commander Duan blinks, looking back. Rebel Commander Duan, confused. What is that sound? Before anyone can answer, a colossal, raging torrent of rushing water bursts through the northern tunnel gates. The Imperial Reservoir has been completely opened. A massive tidal wave crashed into the rebel soldiers, completely submerging them, flipping their heavy black powder barrels upside down and ruining their fuses instantly.
Rebel Commander Duan, screaming as he chokes on water. The powder is wet. Retreat. Fall back to the courtyard grates. Climb out.
The storm hovers overhead as heavy rain pours down. The courtyard grates slam open, and soaked, panicked rebel soldiers begin scrambling out into the open air, gasping for breath. But the moment Commander Duan climbs out, wiping the rainwater from his eyes, he freezes in absolute horror. Surrounding the entire courtyard are thousands of Imperial archers, their bows fully drawn. At the front stands the second prince, spinning his swords, alongside General Li Yi, whose massive broadsword gleams dangerously under the lightning flashes.
Second prince, smirking wickedly, his voice cutting through the thunder. Welcome to the palace, boys. We've been waiting for you. Little sister said you'd be a bit wet.
Rebel Commander Duan, desperate, raising his scimitar. Kill them. Force your way through.
General Li Yi, roaring. Archers! Fire the incendiary rockets. Box them in.
The archers release a massive, blinding volley of glowing, fire talisman rockets. Boom, boom, boom. Despite the pouring rain, the magical fire rockets strike the stone barricades around the courtyard, erupting into a colossal, cinematic ring of bright orange and crimson flames. The explosive shockwaves tear through the rebel front lines. Cage of fire and steel as the final battle begins. The torrential rain pours down as the ring of fire rages around the courtyard. Swords clash, and metal rings out through the thunderous storm. General Li Yi moves like a god of war, his massive broadsword cutting down waves of rebel soldiers, while the second prince leaps from barricade to barricade, his twin blades flashing in the firelight. Rebel Commander Yuan, bleeding and completely desperate, realizes his army is completely losing the fight. He looks up at the grand steps leading to the Empress's pavilion where the toddler, Princess Lin Yuexin, is being held safely inside by the Emperor and the Crown Prince.
Rebel Commander Duan, roaring with madness, face covered in soot. If my army falls tonight, I am taking the royal bloodline with me.
Duan pulls a hidden, highly volatile golden explosive orb from his chest plate, a black powder bomb packed with deadly shrapnel. He sprints up the grand marble steps toward the pavilion with terrifying speed. Inside the pavilion, Princess Lin Yuexin stares through the slatted wooden doors, her eyes lock onto the approaching commander. Instantly, her sharp, adult inner voice blasts into the minds of her father, brothers, General Li Yi, and young Li Chen.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice, in their heads, screaming with urgency. Oh no, you don't, you crazy psycho. Look out! He has a golden fire core bomb in his left hand. If he reaches the top of the stairs, he's going to detonate it and blow up the entire upper pavilion. Big brother second prince, he has an old wound on his right knee. Shoot his knee right now to drop his balance.
The second prince hears her mental shout mid-combat. He spins around on a wooden railing, drops his twin swords, and instantly pulls a heavy mechanical crossbow from his back. He aims through the driving rain, focusing entirely on Duane's right knee. The second prince hears her mental shout mid-combat. He spins around on a wooden railing, drops his twin swords, and instantly pulls a heavy mechanical crossbow from his back. He aims through the driving rain, focusing entirely on Duane's right knee.
Second prince, yelling through the thunder, not on my watch.
The second prince pulls the trigger. A heavy steel bolt flies through the air, piercing Commander Duane's right knee with flawless accuracy. Stumbling heavily onto the marble steps, Duane collapses onto the stairs, but he frantically tries to ignite the fuse of the golden explosive orb with his remaining strength.
Rebel Commander Duan, laughing hysterically, coughing blood. It's too late. We all burn together.
Before the fuse can spark, young Li Chen bursts through the pavilion doors, moving with absolute, fearless bravery. He sprints down the steps, draws a short-throwing dagger, and hurls it straight at Duane's left wrist. Flash! The dagger strikes true, forcing Duane to drop the golden orb. The explosive sphere goes rolling down the long marble steps, straight into the center of the empty, stone courtyard below.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice, in their heads cheering wildly. Yes! Li Chen, you absolute legend. General Li Yi, take cover. The bomb is going to blow in. 3, 2, 1.
General Li Yi and his vanguard instantly dive behind the heavy bronze palace shields. Boom! A colossal, breathtaking explosion tears through the center of the courtyard. A massive, towering wave of bright orange, crimson, and golden fire erupts into the night sky, completely illuminating the entire palace grounds. The sheer, terrifying shockwave blows away the storm clouds overhead, leaving a vast, quiet night sky filled with stars. Rebel Commander Duan is completely pinned down by the Imperial Guards, his coup permanently crushed. The palace has been fully restored. The morning sun shines brilliantly through the golden pillars. Hundreds of loyal ministers and noble officials stand in perfect formation, bowing low to the ground. The emperor sits majestically on his golden dragon throne, flanked by the crown prince and the second prince, who are dressed in their finest ceremonial robes. General Li Yi stands tall at the front, his chest decorated with medals of honor. Princess Lin Yuexin, our sassy toddler heroine, is sitting on a mini throne made of silk and soft pastel pink cushions right next to the emperor. Young Li Chen stands proudly by her side, wearing a brand new, polished silver armor suit.
Imperial! Voice, echoing with immense pride and power. The traitors have been banished. The court has been cleansed of corruption. and peace has finally returned to our great empire. This victory belongs to the heavens and to the eternal unity of the imperial family.
The entire hall erupts into roaring cheers and applause. Princess Lin Yuexin leans back against her plush cushions, popping a sweet, candied plum into her mouth with a deeply satisfied look on her face.
Princess Lin Yuexin voice, in their heads sighing with extreme happiness. Finally. Peace and quiet. No more tax fraud, no more poison, and no more massive midnight explosions. Just pure luxury. And honestly, looking at Li Chen in that new silver armor, damn, my future husband is looking incredibly handsome. I guess reincarnating here wasn't such a bad deal after all.
Young Li Chen hears her final internal thought, and his entire face instantly turns as red as a ripe tomato. He coughs awkwardly, pulling his helmet down slightly to hide his massive, blushing, and incredibly happy smile. The Emperor, the Crown Prince, and the second Prince all look over at the two of them, trying their absolute best to hold back their laughter as the grand assembly continues.